Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to be making buttermilk biscuits. The ingredients we're going to need are 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, either King Arthur or White Lily flour. They both make really tender biscuits. 1½ tablespoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of whole buttermilk, cold, and 1/2 cup of grated cold butter. And first you want to start out by preheating your oven to 450 degrees. Now we're going to start with the 2½ cups of flour. We're going to add our baking powder, our 1 teaspoon of salt, and we're going to whisk this in really well and get it all evenly distributed. Okay, now we're going to add our cold butter. And we want to mix this in, make sure it's evenly distributed and that all the butter is coated very well with the flour. Okay. Now we're going to start adding our buttermilk. And I'm only going to start with just about 3/4 of a cup and then keep adding a little more at a time until I get a shaggy dough, until I get it the consistency that I like. Okay. And we're not really going to stir it, we're just going to kind of fold it because you don't want to overwork your dough. If you overwork the dough, then you'll have tough biscuits. The reason I say I start with that much buttermilk, it depends on where you live, you know, if it's raining, if it's dry or whatever. Everybody's dough comes out different. And I think I'm gonna need a little more. So I'm gonna add a little more buttermilk. I think we're up to 1.5 cups of buttermilk. Just a tiny bit more. Okay. Now we've got that, our dough has come together, and now we're going to roll out our dough onto a well-floured surface. Now we're going to start patting it out, and we're going to pat it into a triangle. Add a little more flour over the surface if you need, if it's too sticky. And I take a counter scraper and I take it and I'm going to fold it in thirds. Flip it, pat it out again. We're going to do this process a total of 4 times, and the folding is what's going to create the layers in the biscuits. So we're going to fold it again. Press it out really good again. Fold it. One more time. Okay. Now we're done with our folds. Now we're going to pat it out into a circle. And we're going to pat it out to maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thickness. You could use a rolling pin for this too if you wanted to. I'm just used to doing it with my hands. I'm going to take our, I think this is like a 2.5 inch biscuit cutter, dip it in flour, and we're going to cut straight down. And don't twist the cutter, because that will seal the edges of your biscuit and it will prevent it from rising. So we don't want to twist it, just go straight down and straight up. Okay, now we're going to place them in a well-buttered cast iron pan. I get room here. I think I spushed one. Okay, I've got those in there. I've got a little leftover dough, so I'm just don't knead it or anything. Just roll it until it comes together. Pat it out again and cut your final biscuits. Okay. Okay, here I have all the biscuits in the pan, and this is what they look like. And now I'm going to stick them in my 450-degree oven and bake them between 15 to 20 minutes or until they're golden brown. Okay, I'm back. The biscuits have just came out of the oven, and these are some beautiful, fluffy, tender, flaky biscuits. Now let's try flipping one. Not too hot. See those layers? Beautiful.